On September 9, 2010, me and my mother, Africans living on Staten Island, the NYPD invaded our home, kicked us out without any real emergency, vacated our home wrongfully, and they were jeering at us, making mockery of us, threatened to lock us up in the psych ward and frame us up as crazy. And we appealed to 311. They didn't help us to get our home back. And so I took the matter to court. And then Eric Garner was supposed to help him with the court papers. The NYPD choked him to death. They didn't let me testify in the court trial. And, I believe they're being assisted by the FBI, CIA to cover up all these crimes. And so I'm getting accosted. And since then, my mother has been killed also. Daughters in America framed her up as crazy also. My mother was having heart disease. And it's just so weird. And they took her to Bellevue. My mother went, the ambulance took her to Bellevue, and her daughters went and met her at Bellevue and said they should put her in the psych ward instead. And then my mother didn't want to go to psych ward. She was being framed up, and the Bellevue insisted that they're going to put her in psych ward as an African woman. And my mother died, and her daughters in America went and got all of my mother's property in the storage, keep the storage, including my property. And keep the storage, and law enforcement wouldn't help me. We were deemed enemies of the NYPD because we were trying to hold the NYPD accountable. So they let our daughters in America get away with that. So I've been under constant assault. On July 23rd, 2019, a guy hit me, assaulted me on Bay Ridge and 4th Avenue during Trump's immigration raid. And the NYPD stormed the area, knocked me down, and they took me to the psych ward, NYU Psychiatric Hospital, and had me kidnapped there for 7 days. I contacted the Nigerian embassy. The Nigerian embassy wouldn't help, promised to help me, but reneged on their promise and stopped, didn't help me. Even though Nigeria has a bilateral agreement with the U.S. government, and they always prosecute crimes between Nigeria and America. But I think that there's some shady, backhanded deal going on, in which they would rather just not help me and watch me suffer and die, and then, just appoint somebody else to collect money and share the money among themselves. So there's like a shady deal. The Nigerian government wouldn't help me. So I was held in the psych ward, NYU Psychiatric Hospital on Bay Ridge and 4th Avenue during Trump's immigration raid in New York. I was held there for 7 days, and they tortured me. I reached out to the New York Times, Daily News, and they were even using some of the psychiatric patients to taunt me and harass me, and to frame me up as bipolar. And so I insisted on being taken to the New York City Supreme Court Mental Health and Hygiene Unit, because under New York law, you can't keep somebody past 24 hours involuntarily. So, so they were, even the hospital barred me from using the phone. I was contacting lawyers. Nobody would help me. The media in America wouldn't help me. The Daily News promised to help me. So they find that, so when the New York University Hospital, Psychiatric Hospital, the Brooklyn branch, found that I was speaking with the Daily News. So they finally agreed to allow the hospital's lawyer to take my case to court. And on the date of the court, so I was there from July 23rd, 2019 to August 1st, 2019. I spent 7 days in the hospital. So on the date of the court hearing, the Daily News was waiting for me in court, and the hospital kidnapped me from my hospital bed and drove me away from Brooklyn. Told me, we're not going to let you go to court, and dumped me in front of Bellevue Hospital where my mother was killed. I couldn't make it to court, and just to traumatize me, And so so my record would show I was supposed to be in court around August 1, between July 23rd, 2019 and August 1, 2019. I'm not sure the exact date of the court hearing, but it was within the 7 days I was at the psychiatric hospital. And the New York University Hospital trying to cover up for holding me unlawfully, didn't let me go to court. So they obstructed justice, and while I was in the NYU Psychiatric Hospital Brooklyn branch, I called the Department of Investigation I told them that I was accosted. People were recording the video. I was knocked down, smothered. I couldn't breathe, and people was recording it. And the NYPD put me in handcuffs, dispossessed me of my bags, but belongings, IDs, money, and everything. Left everything on the floor and took me away in handcuffs to the hospital, and left my property on the sidewalk to be burglarized. And there was a police camera recording, and the Department of Investigation decided to side with the NYPD and didn't help investigate. Even when they came to visit me in the psych ward, they said the hospital didn't want them to visit me, so they left. So they're all covering up, and now I'm being attacked everywhere. So they've already framed me up with all kinds of mental illnesses. So they're trying to make me look like bipolar. They're having people attack me when I try to use the public bathroom. The Black Americans worker wouldn't let me use the bathroom. They were calling me crazy, and all my clothing has been stolen. So I just wear the jacket I have. They're treating me like a Black African slave. And even though the city of New York holds me housing, because there's a settlement agreement between the city of New York and those vacated since 1990 that they're supposed to help you with housing and put you in a hotel, but they treat me like a Black African slave, I guess due to the slavery of Africans selling Black Americans. So now under this Eric Adams administration, they treat me like a slave, and the Black Americans will threaten to beat me up, don't let me use the bathroom, especially at the Washington Park, on Greenwich and Chambers, and on Pier 25. They leave the bathroom on Pier 25 very hard. They could kill somebody in that bathroom. They're bringing kids in there. So my life is in danger. And under this whole show, Eric Adams administration, New York City and New York State are torturing an African immigrant, and they're sending Black Americans to accost me everywhere, threatening to beat me up, and they treat me like a slave, and they believe they can just frame me up as crazy and in need of medication, because they see my mother's daughters was able to frame my mother up as crazy in the hospital, Bellevue, and had her killed. So they're trying to kill me like that. Even during the COVID, Cuomo shut down the subway at night, because you normally go to the subway at night, and said they don't want homeless in the subway at night. They shut down the city, and so I would freeze outside. I didn't have no shelter, nothing, so they're torturing me like crazy. So I need the world to help. If anything happens to me, only an international human rights organization can take my case, and any other country is not safe for me. And the Nigerian government needs to be held accountable also for colluding and denying me justice, and no family member should be able to get involved in my case. Only an international human rights organization that hasn't denied me help in the past should get involved in my case to get me justice for me and my late mother, and my body, if I'm killed, my body should be cremated. My assets should be given to charity, those that suffer xenophobia like me, under the right of sepulchre. And even if I'm alive and harmed, only an international human rights organization should help me here in the United States. I don't want to be near any family member that didn't help me or my mother get justice, and everybody needs to be under investigation that may have caused me harm or caused my mother harm. So this was going on.